Yeah, Emily, I'm so there with you. Oh my God, he was like, and like I said, I've listened to him before. You're right. He's totally hilarious. Okay. Uh, Let me get my screen up. Come on. Here we go. Okay. Can you guys see my screen? Okay, cool. All right, let's dive into this. Rob Fore. Let me go to my Power Network. Pretty much how he makes, consistently 15,000 a month by using free traffic. And let me tell you, I've watched in the 15K formula, he's got some really good stuff in the 15K formula. And I've actually applied some of the things that he does. And his approach, guys, is is a little bit different. His approach, and we're going to get into that real quick, but his approach is a little bit more time consuming. And you know what? That's okay, because sometimes taking the time to get your content ranked, okay, and having really good content is really what produces, in my opinion, and from listening to the leaders, it's worth your time to get that content right and to have good content, because then you start really attracting more qualified people. Would you not agree? What the heck happened? When you actually get somebody that reaches out to you about what you're doing, and they genuinely took the time to read your information, would you not agree you're probably going to get somebody that's a little bit more qualified in your business? Yeah. I mean, I totally am in agreement with that. Um, Man, sorry guys. It drives me nuts when my computer has a mind of its own. Once I start recording, then all hell breaks loose. What's up with that crap? One of these days I'm gonna have one. Well, I actually do have another computer, a desktop that I do work on two computers sometimes at once. But I want a big screen uh television where I can watch myself do my work and go to this corner and do my work over there. Wouldn't that be so cool? I so can't wait for that. That's right, Emily. I am slaying. And just so you know, I am in the demon slaying mood. So let's move that Skype here. Okay. So, what is going on here? Do you guys see that? It's just, I'm not even doing anything. And it's going back to login. I don't know. Anyways, guys, I don't know if many of you have had a chance to already listen to the inner circle. Um, yeah, you're right, Emily. I'm actually at that point. I actually am going to be deleting a lot of um, my stuff off my computer because it's really, 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 really full. So, anyways, um, guys, one thing that's awesome about Rob's story, and I think we all have been there in some way or another, but there were some things that stood out. Oh my gosh, there's a ton of things. I actually got a ton of notes. I didn't have a time to type them up, but he started off talking about that he was diagnosed, right, with cancer. And, you hear these stories that, when people get diagnosed with cancer, or right, you get that death sentence, or something might happen in your life that really takes you by surprise, and then all of a sudden you start questioning life. You know what I mean? And I've been there. Maybe you all have been there. Maybe you all have reached that point where something happened in your life that shifted you to go in another direction. It shifted you to say, you know what? I don't like where I'm at. I'm going to make the decision starting now that I'm going to have a better life for myself. I'm going to have a better life for my family. I refuse to take agreement with cancer, with debt, with, uh, you know, poor relationships or your family fighting, whatever the case may be. So, he was faced with that, and he was running a business, and he was working all the time, and I'm sure stressing himself out and not really living the life that he always pictured himself living. So what did he decide to do? Well, he knew one of the only ways to make the money that he wanted to make, because he's like, they actually gave him a death sentence. So he was actually given a death sentence. I mean, so they said, okay, you've got what, 12, like 24 or 48 months or something like that. So, and he had to go through this chemo. So anyways, he decides to start a network marketing business, and he's just like, look, I'm just going to go build this thing, and because I'm going to die, so I need to make sure that I leave something for my family. And he saw network marketing, guys, to be the only solution for him to do that. So he starts going through this chemo, and here he is thinking he's going to die, and he's still building the business, right? Even though he's vomiting every day, I'm sure he's frustrated. I'm sure his family are having a hard time, because he's been the provider for his family. I can only imagine, right? Going through those kind of challenges. Nobody wants to go through those challenges, but that's what he was faced with. And of course, then he goes on to, talk about some scripture. You could tell he has a relationship with his God, and he's and in the process of going through chemo, he ends up getting healed, and then his businesses are flourishing, because he actually has built several network marketing companies, and he builds them to the top levels so he can have multiple streams of income. And but let's just keep in mind, with this really quick before I move forward into his story, is, guys, he had the current skill set, and he was gaining the skill sets to build multiple streams of income. It's really smart to start with one and then scale up, and then you can go build whatever you want to build. And that's what I recommend to people. I don't say, hey, go try to go in 18 different directions, because that doesn't work if you don't have the skill. Some people have the skill set to build multiple businesses at once. Many do not. So unless you have the skill, don't do it, okay? But back to Rob's story. But anyways, even as he was healed of cancer, some of the things that stood out to me, when he was focused on his business, growing his businesses, is Rob stopped focusing on the people who were actually getting results in the business, and he started to feel bad for the 90%, he said, that were failing. So as a leader, I can 100,000% relate. When I built my first company a few years ago, I felt like that. I felt that everybody needed to succeed. And it would frustrate me. Like, oh my gosh, I couldn't sleep at night. Literally, I couldn't sleep at night. I would focus on everybody that was failing and not the one or two that was succeeding, And even though I would spend time with those that were succeeding, because really, ultimately, guys, if your leader's not spending a lot of time with you, it has nothing to do with you being a bad person, or you doing this or you doing that. No, a leader's going to focus on somebody getting results. They are. Why? Because you guys are both in that same momentum. You know what I mean? So you don't need to feel bad to get results. Or if you're someone that hasn't got results yet, don't quit. You know what I mean? Be that person starting today that you're going to get results inside your business. Everybody moves at a different pace. And it's so important for a leader and those that are stepping into leadership. You might be at this level now, but if you don't quit, you're going to be at a higher level. I remember being at a very small level, and I thought to myself, I am never going to be someone at this big level like Tracy Walker or Dave Wood or whatever. I used to think like that. But now I've decided to take agreement because of the work that I've done on myself that I'm going to be the leader that I was called to be. And guys, and you should too. There's no difference between anybody on this call. It's time to start focusing on what is going right instead of focusing on what's not. And this truly takes a conscious effort. Like, it takes a conscious effort. That's right. Emily just said, keep multiplying the small successes you have to where they explode. Amen, sister. Emily, you are a shining example of someone that you have been in the industry. You may not have had the success that you've desired to have, but I saw it shift in you a few months back where you said, that's it. I am a $50,000 a month earner or whatever, and I am going to do whatever it takes. And that's the reason why you're going to get to where you're going to get to, because it just takes that decision. It just takes that decision. So I'm proud of you, girl. I really am in so many ways. In so many ways. Okay. So guys, Rob went into hiding because he was like, he couldn't take it, you know? And then he had to realize that he had to start focusing on the one or the two or the three or the few that were actually achieving their goals. They were some of them were funding missionaries in other countries. Some of them were feeding orphanages. You know what I mean? Some of them were really doing that. And you know what? It's because he decided to succeed that it inspired them to succeed. And that's the nugget that I got out of it. And if we're Facebook friends, that's what I heard. It's like, you know what, what do you say? He talked about, not succeeding really is selfish. It is. Not succeeding is selfish. And you might think to yourself, what do you mean by that, Katie? Well, this is what I take from it, and I totally am in agreement with this. You may not be. But guys, when you are staying there in your pit of excuses, right? And we all have them. It doesn't matter what level of excuse it is. We all got our excuses. Like we get to the edge and then we say, oh, I'm getting ready to jump, and then something just pops in your head that makes you think about some stupid thing or what that person did, and all of a sudden you go in this vicious tornado in your head and you take a step back from the ledge and you're like, I gotta think about this stupid crap for a second, and then before you know it, you forgot to jump. You guys know what I'm talking about? I can't tell you how many times I've done it. And then I go and have these stupid pity parties with myself. So not succeeding is selfish. By you succeeding, guys, you create a freedom for yourself. And when you create that freedom for yourself, right, you inspire others to be free. And if you're that person that says, I want to help others, then go freaking get some results in your business. And recognize, okay, continue to recognize, and I've said this before, that you are at your current skill set. And this current skill set, okay, guys, is just something that you're going to have to say, okay, this is where I'm at, and I choose to be better than where I am tomorrow or yesterday or whatever the case may be, a year from now, okay? So you got to recognize that and say, you know what, I am going to learn the skills to do whatever it takes. And you have to ask yourself, why are you here? Remember, don't forget, why are you here? Are you here for financial freedom? Are you here to leave a legacy to your children? Are you here because, damn it, you just reached that point where you said, you know what, I failed, enough is enough, this is my vehicle, I'm going to go do it, I don't care about anything else in the world, I choose this vehicle to succeed, and I'm going to use this as a stepping stone to upscale my life? That may be the only reason why you're here. Whatever the reason is, hold on to that reason. You know what I mean? Hold on to that reason, because it's that reason that's going to get you up every single day. Okay? So, all right, back to, oh, so many nuggets in this call. Oh my gosh, it's so awesome. You guys got, I mean, I know that that's our accountability, but listen to this call intently. Shut off your computer and listen to this call. Get on the treadmill, whatever you got to do. Go work out, go on a walk. But listen to this call, okay? Listen to it. Don't multitask and listen to it. So Rob also talked about, and it was so good, he said he would have these moments that he would screw up so bad that he would go into hiding and he'd never want to come out because he thought, okay, that's it. I have, I've screwed up. Yeah, this one's it. I screwed up for the last time. Has anybody ever felt like that? Where it's like, I have embarrassed myself. What am I going to do? What's my family going to think of me? Oh my gosh. Okay, so I got to tell this quick story. Okay, so a few years ago, and I'm so excited I finally now get to tell this story. This story has been brewing for years. So a few years ago when I start my business, right? And I start having some success. Well, you know, a little bit of success, can actually be a bad thing, right? Let's just say it was. And so I start laying the foundation, okay, for my life, like, and for my family's life, because I'm like, my husband's not going to do it. Fook him. I'm going to go do it. You know what I mean? Typical Ruby. Screw you. I'm going to show you, right? That attitude. And so I go and spend all this money on laying a foundation for our family, okay? And I set up a business in Nevada, and I get accountants and lawyers, and I set up all these different things, and then bam, I walk away from my business, which was my future income. I put all my eggs in that basket because I knew I was going somewhere, and then I end up losing everything. So what did I do? Well, here I'm thinking I'm laying a foundation for my family, but really what I did is I put us in debt. I spent all this money like a freaking idiot, not making the wise decisions. Now, is it something that's good now because of where I'm at and the goals that I'm achieving now? Yeah, absolutely. But basically, I ended up getting on this track that even, I just started spending all this money, which wasn't like 100% stupid because I saw it as an investment. But then on top of that, I start spending all this money on coaching, all this money on traveling all around the world, all this money on this and all this money on that. Now I'm like, where I was, what, 6, 7 months ago, I'm like, shit, I gotta pay this money back. You know what I mean? That's where I was. Because I was bringing in money, but it wasn't consistent. So, and every entrepreneur knows that money sometimes comes in chunks. And so what I would do is I would get a big chunk of money, and then I would pay off like some of my debt. And I'd be like, oh, and it would feel so good. And then I wouldn't have any freaking money to pay my bills. So I'd be like, crap. So I'd have to borrow the money again for myself to pay the bills. Oh, this is so good. I'm just so glad I'm set free of this stupid mindset. That's why I'm excited. So, so I was just like, it was like I was in a hurry for all these stuff, and I wasn't really slowing down. And this is the point that I was going to get to. I wasn't really slowing down to do the work that was in front of me with excellence. It wasn't that I was doing it bad, but I was kind of half-assing some things, okay? And some decisions that I made. And that's what led me to, crap, I either need to get a job or I need to build this business, which happened to be in Power Network, you know? And then now I've built it to a full-time income, and now I'm like, okay, now I'm setting goals, you know, that I set 4 years ago. I was given another chance, and here you better believe I ain't screwing it up. So come hell or come high water, this business is either going to work or it's going to work. And that's the decision that I made. And that was the decision that Rob made. He said, you know what? I got nothing to lose. I got cancer. I was just given a 2-year death sentence. I am going to go build a network marketing company, because he didn't know anything else to do for his family that he could leave them, so he can leave them an inheritance and be able to set up his funeral and all this stuff. So he was preparing for his death, but then in the process, he gets healed, you know, has a strong relationship with the Lord, and you know, now he's got several network marketing companies that he's very successful with, and Power Network being one of them. But he took the time, guys, and I'm going to get into some of the nuggets that he did. He took the time to really apply the blog. He took the time to really apply the content. He took the time to listen to the inner circles. He took the time now, right, so he could advance forward. And this is so huge, because this is something that I struggled with. I wanted everything to happen so fast that I would take the time and I would do it, but I really wouldn't focus on it. You know what I'm saying? I really wouldn't focus on the tasks that were in front of me. I would just want to get them done, because that's my personality type. Just want to get it done and be done, and then be done, and then be done the next day, and then be done the next day, and then be done the next day. That's how I think. I'm moving so fast in my stinking head, sometimes I don't slow down to do the work. So that's why the 8 core commitments, it's our home base, right? As Tracy Walker says, or even in the Dream Team Lean site, you know, go back to home base. And if you've got to go back to square one again, well, then by God, go back to square one. But, you know, Rob said something in there. He said, you know what? And this is what really stuck with me. He said, content is king, right? They say content's king on the internet. Well, he says content is king if the content is ranked. You got to rank that content if you really want to start getting traffic to your blog. So those of you that are focused on the blog, because I am focused on, you know, more keywords and, you know, and all this kind of stuff. And I do get frustrated sometimes, because I'm like, ugh, I just want someone else to do this, right? And I'm just being transparent. So it's important, guys, to actually slow down and say, okay, I know I want to make all this money. How do I even make money? Some of you might be brand new, okay? And you're like, okay, how does this work? Okay, stop right now in your head and follow directions, which is what? The 8 core commitments first, okay? And then, of course, you have the Real Work Encouragement Team training to keep you moving forward. Guys, because Rob said it best. He's like, even a turtle has to stick out his head to move forward. So even if you are a turtle, okay, stick out your freaking head and start walking until you get to where you need to go. Because you don't have the right, as far as I'm concerned, everybody that's on this webinar, you do not have the right to fail. The only thing that you have the right for is to succeed. And you're here because you made the decision that you were going to make this work. So now you've come to that point in your life where you're faced with the realities of it could actually happen. Oh my God, I've really got something that I believe that can really work, but you're still dealing with your stuff. We all got our stuff, right? We all got our stinking pity parties, right? And you know what? You can whine all you want, okay? We we all got something that we whine about, right? And it happened to me this morning, okay? So I don't want to get on that subject. We all got something that we can whine about. But you know what? Kick and scream all you want, but don't quit. Kick and scream all you want, but don't quit. Because you are just experiencing being uncomfortable and you can't stand it. And every bit of you is saying, right? You are fighting with your flesh. You are not fighting with your right to succeed because it's already there for you. Why and how do you know that it's there? Because the desire is planted in you, and you are at a place in your life, actually, where, and this was so good. Oh my gosh, so good. The Lord was really good to me this morning on some stuff. You are at a place in your life where God is actually putting things in front of you, and it's almost making you mad. Because you're like, what? That's mine. And that's mine. And that's mine. He's doing it on purpose because he's trying to get you out of your mindset right now. He's saying the mindset you got right now, you're done. It's done. D-O-N-E, done. You can either stay there and stay stuck, or you can move forward. So he's dangling that stuff in front of you to piss you off, so you start moving forward and you stick your head out like a turtle and just keep walking. That's what he's doing. So, stick your head out. Stick your head out. And you know what? Another thing that he recognized in his leadership. Okay, so Rob, hold on, so you guys can see this. Rob recognized in his leadership that he was either going to be a coach or a friend. Now, every good leader needs to be a coach. Okay? And I'm talking to you guys because you guys are leaders too. You're on this webinar because you want to be a leader. You're on this webinar because you want to change your life. So when you are in the marketplace, okay, in the beginning stages of your leadership, okay, you got to recognize that yes, we are here to develop relationships. I love everybody that's on my team. I pray for everybody that's on my team and not on my team. Okay? Absolutely, a relationship is more important to me than anything in the world, and I believe that as we grow together, our friendship will grow. But I'm also here to be a coach. And I also know that I didn't go through all the crap that I've been through to stay stuck and be miserable. I went through all my crap so I could set others free. And it is my right to set others free. And it is my right to succeed. And I've made that decision that I'm going to stand in that. Period. That's it. End of story. There's no more wishy-washy of, well, you know, we'll see if this works. No. It's like getting and Rob talked about this, like getting the call from somebody that says, well, Katie, if you can give me the secret, that one thing that you do, like how do you make money? Here's the secret, fool. I follow the directions. I'm following the directions every single day. I'm consistent. I do my emails. I do my blog. And if I miss some things, I go back and I catch up. Okay. And I'm getting better. I'm getting better at, being more clear on some of the information and content that I want to put out there, and it's a process. I didn't come in here with like some guru that I've been on the internet for 10 years and make $1 million in 6 months like Vic Streishouse. I came in here just like a newbie with some past business experience, knowing what works, know what doesn't work. I've worked for other companies. I have a series of a lot of stuff that I've been through, not on the internet, right? But I've been through enough to say, you know what? I'm going to learn this stuff. And I see this as a platform where I can really grow with myself in the direction that I want to grow with all the dreams that I have. And I really see this as being a way where I can learn how to do that and make money. So practically, guys, I looked at this as I'm going to do whatever it takes. And that's what I'm doing. And that's what you're doing. And if you feel as if you're not doing whatever it takes, then make the decision today that you are going to do whatever it takes, right? Okay. I got so many notes, guys. It's insane. Okay. You know, when Rob first started into the industry, he you know, when he failed like 6 different companies or whatever, he goes into it telling his wife, like, wife, I'm going to bring you the moon. He's like, instead, I brought him a moon rock. I think some of you on this webinar can relate to that, because I totally can. I can't tell you how many times that I told my husband, I'm like, Dwayne, I'm going to go build this sucker and I'm going to go make millions of dollars. You can quit your job. Yeah, amen to that, Emily. Don't wait for the harsh messenger to come to the door. Just go freaking do it now. It's better to humble yourself in person, right? So true. Um, but and I can't tell you how many moon rocks I brought back, guys. Because when I built my first company, I walked away from that because I was so stressed out, and I could sit here and list a million different reasons of how I failed. I tried to actually build a couple more, but I just didn't have it in me to do it. It's like I lost this desire to be great because to me, it was just exhausting. And then I got this message about about a year and a half ago that said, sit down, shut up, and listen. Sit down, shut up, and listen. Well, that got my attention because it was very loud. Let's just put it that way. And I was just trying to push myself when I had nothing left in me. And you know what it led to? I got the flu for the first time in my life. I was sick for like a month because I was striving, and it wasn't a physical thing. It was like mentally, which led to physically. I was striving because I wanted so bad to get out of this yuckiness that I kept controlling everything that was around. I started to want to take back control of everything. And really, guys, I'm very strong in my faith. Some of you may have a different faith. I know some of you and I have the same faith. So I in no means want to push this on anybody, but I just have a strong relationship with my God. You can serve whatever God you want. I just serve mine. But he really was very, after he said that, he's like, you got to start letting me do this. You got to start letting me do this. I just negotiated a 7-figure contract. And oh my gosh, this project went to hell in a handbasket. Oh my gosh, it was one nightmare after another. And the only reason I did it, and this is why I thought it was God, and I swear it was God training me on how it's really from Him. I could have sworn because my husband asked me to do it. And here I am trying to mend my marriage, okay, because our marriage was we were about to call it quits a few years ago. Here I am trying to be good, right? Trying to honor my husband. And I was like, that totally sucked in the beginning because that was the last thing I wanted to do. Trust me. But my husband asked me to do this, so I go and negotiate this deal. And then it was like my husband just it was like all of a sudden he became uncomfortable that I was around his work every day and and I could feel it from him. I really could. I could feel it from him. This is the first time I've talked about this. And I'm like, oh no, I'm not going to do all this. And then, this to ruin our marriage. you know? So, but I still tried to continue to do this business. It was basically a subcontracting business, and they wanted to run a network marketing company out of all our health clubs because we have 14 of them. And guys, I'm like, okay, well, I'll help you do it. And I saw a way to like kind of get my groove back without having to spend this money. Okay. And I was going to go do this for them, and they paid for everything. They did. They paid for the position. I negotiated the position. I did all this stuff for them. And for them to build a network marketing business with, like, protein supplements, because it made sense, right, for the gym and stuff like that. And they were going to sell packages and all this kind of jazz. And I was going to help them, set up the sales process with the members and the employees and all that kind of jazz. I was going to do all the training. Well, it all went to freaking, like I said, it went to hell in a handbasket. And but I was just happy that I didn't have to pay for the money. I didn't have to pay for these monthly auto ships. I didn't have to pay. I didn't have to pay for that. And then I just ended up wearing myself out again. Oh, it was horrible. And I pushed this project for 9 months. I pushed it. So, my point is with that story is that I finally had to start letting go of what I thought that I needed to do to save my family and eternity in the world and all this kind of jazz. Okay? Because it's just the way I think. I'm a big thinker, and I'm always the one going to ideas with my husband, and my husband looks at me all the time that I got freaking 8 snakes coming out of my head. He's like, "Oh God, there goes my wife," thinking up whatever she's thinking, and my husband's like, yeah, where are you gonna get the money for that? you know? And then I just want to punch him, and then we just end up getting in a fight, right? Uh, well, I've come a long way there. I don't want to do that anymore. Now I just speak to him in his language, and actually, first I normally walk away. That's always a smart idea, because if my mouth opens when pits of fire are surfacing in my heart, it ain't pretty. Um, but you know, I had to recognize that, um, well, and I'm just going to call it like it is, guys. This is just all I know how to say it. That my Father in heaven wanted to give me rest. And I continued to do things that it wasn't that, in my opinion, I don't think it was the fact that, God didn't bring that great opportunity to me, because I believe that he did. I just believe that I totally let all these old habits just surface. And one of my biggest old habits was, oh man, this was the toughest lesson. And I have to check myself daily on it. You ready for this? If I could really love people. It's been my hardest lesson with myself, because I've experienced so much hardship with people, and building other businesses and making people money and doing this and being the go-to person and saying yes and making things happen and getting things done, that I was never fully taking agreement with the fact that it's time for Katie to rest, not have people serve me, or time to sit on a high throne and do nothing. No, it's time to just say, okay, you know what, I'm just going to do what I can do, instead of focusing on doing everything and even trying to learn things that I can't do, that I suck at in the first place, right? So that's what led to, after I got that last check, okay, because this is building, and you guys heard a little bit of my story last night if you're on the Hangout, that's what led to, God, I'm done. I'm done chasing after all these different things, because I think that I need to do this or do this or do this or do that. Exhausting myself for no stinking reason. I'm done. I don't want to give up, but if you formed me in my mother's womb, you know exactly what I need. And you know exactly what motivates me. And I went on and on in this prayer, okay? And I just need something that I can do from home, that I don't have to deal with a massive amount of people getting on my nerves, and I just make money and just be left alone. But it's got to be something that you know that I cannot say no to, okay? And he kept highlighting this, and he kept highlighting me, Mark. So that's what happened. And so now here I am. I got exactly what I asked for. Whether you believe in prayer or not, you can still ask. You know, you can, when you declare something out of your mouth, you'd be shocked what happens. And amen, Emily. Amen. And so here we are, guys, with something that can literally change our lives. Okay. And the only difference between someone succeeding and someone not succeeding is the one person that is succeeding is they made the decision and they're doing the work. And they're doing it every day, and they're doing it consistently, whether they understand it or not. They're deciding to follow directions, do the steps, do whatever it takes, even if it takes them 12 months to make a full-time income. Is it worth it? If it takes you 24 months and you have to have a job on the side to get there, is it worth it? If it takes you 20 years to reach the freedom that you said that you wanted to reach inside this platform, is it worth it? Got to ask yourself that. Are you going to do whatever it takes? Or you just say, well, if it doesn't do this within 6 months, then I'm going to quit. Well, if that's the attitude that you have, my friend, good luck. Because it doesn't really matter what you do. Nothing's going to work if you got that attitude. Okay? Oh, this is so powerful. If you work it, it works, right? If you work it, it works. And I know many of you on here have experienced that. So stop looking for permission to fail and start looking for permission to succeed. Let me repeat that. Stop looking for permission to fail. It's like, you know, sometimes we can repel our own success. And I say this a lot because I did it myself. Okay. We have it sitting right there. Hello. Like, it's like, you know, you get smacked in the face with it every single day. And then you're still having your pity party. You're right, Julie. You will always want to quit. That is so true. And you know, I'm going to touch upon that really quick because we're all going to be in that place where we always want to quit. That's why what? We got to plug into something that recharges us back up, right? And pushes us out the door and says, you know, today's a new day. That's why you got to keep having that mindset, right? So that's awesome, Julie. I totally agree with that. And then, okay, so this is so good. Okay, right now, I want you to think of the most important person in your life, and let it be a person, not God, even though we know God is awesome. Some of you, whatever, not everybody. Who is the most important person in your life that you would do anything for? Everybody get that person in their head right now. And once you got that person in your head, Rob said his wife said, when did you give your permission? Yeah, when did you give yourself permission to be less than? Yes, Emily, that's exactly what he said. Yeah, Rob's wife came to him and said, when did you give yourself permission to be less than? So true. And you got to ask yourself that question. When, and I use the word agreement a lot. I've always asked myself, when did I take agreement with failure? And I go back to that time when I took agreement with failure, and I forgive myself for that moment and say, you know what? I forgive myself for taking agreement. It's done. It's over with. From this day forward, I'm going to succeed. And just so you know, that does work. That's something that I do a lot. When I find like this bad fruit come up in my life, I go back to that root and I kill that sucker, and I say, I forgive myself, or I forgive that person, I forgive that situation, and from this day forward, I move forward. Okay? That's a very powerful thing to do, just so you know. It's a powerful nugget, and it'll help you break through every day. But, okay, so has everybody got that person in their life that they would do anything for? If you do, say yes. Amen, Emily. Emily said, when we were in Denver, Dave Sharp just decided to tell those thoughts to F off. He was done. Okay, everybody's got their person. Okay. Let's say this person was given 1 year to live. And in that 1 year, you had to make $100,000 in order for them to live. But here's the rules. You can't ask for the money. You can't go do some fundraiser. You can't do any of that. You can't steal it, whatever. You got to make it yourself. You got to do it all on your own. Or this person will die in 1 year. What would you do? If you were faced with that decision, would you say, I'm going to do whatever it takes? Would you say, you know what? I mean, I know me. I wouldn't eat for a month. If I had to not eat for a month, I wouldn't eat for a month. You better believe I'd give up some habits that, that Starbucks and I don't do any of that stuff. I do live on a budget because I'm just like that. I'd give up a lot of things. And you know what would be the first thing that I would want to look at to give up? That stupid thing in my head that tells me I can't do it. Because who said that you can't? You're only taking agreement with that crap. If this person in your life, whether it be your mom or your dad or your spouse or your child, and you were given 1 year, do you got a new motivation? Do you got a new why rising up in you? Yeah, Emily just said she would turn in a friggin' working machine. Guys, that's the kind of fire that you need in order to succeed. Like there's a deadline on your life because you only got one and there's only one of you. So this business is a combination of so many things. You get to speak your voice. And that's what Dave and Dave want you to understand. They want you to speak your voice, whatever that voice is, man. Because you guys got a message. You got a message that's different than mine. You got a people that are waiting on you to succeed so they can succeed or live. Could you imagine? I mean, and what most of the world is doing is they're not thinking that $5 on Starbucks is a big deal, right? They're not thinking about their children's future because why? They want to fulfill a gratification, which is greed, with themselves because for selfish purposes. You ain't got the right to do that, friend. The only thing that you got the right to take agreement with is success. Period. End of story. So imagine if you were faced with that decision. And let me tell you, our family, we were faced with that decision before my brother accidentally took his life by drugs. We'd have to pay for him to get in treatment centers. And I hated it. Oh my gosh, I hated it. I hated knowing, even though I'm in my early 20s, I hated knowing that I couldn't just drop 50 grand for him to go to a really good treatment center. So we would all pull together and do whatever it took. And it sucked. So guys, where we're at right now is you're at that place in your life where it has to happen. So do the work. Take the time to understand that blogging and keywords and all this kind of stuff. And where are you going to learn all that? You ain't going to learn everything until you get all the products. Guys, the products, I've studied every video, and it wasn't until I started studying every video till I started understanding the platform. You know, I wanted to make all this money right away, but I wasn't all in. You know, and when I got all in, everything shifted. All of a sudden, I said, you know what? This sucker is going to work. And I got fully committed. I got full on, and many of you watched me, right? Many of you guys watched me go from 0 to $6,000 a month in 6 months. You watched me do it. You guys know everything that I do. You know the emails that I send out, the blogs that I do, the videos that I do, right? But I'm just, what am I doing? I'm following the leader. I'm following the 15K formula. I'm following the master's course. I'm following the 8 core commitments and learning so stinking much. And in the process, as I'm learning these skill sets, it's actually motivating me and my vision's getting bigger. And I'm becoming more committed to that vision every day. As before, the reason why I was stuck in my pit is because, well, I still had a little bit of ego issues. Like, you know, I'd question everything and, you know, and I had to know everything before I moved in that direction, which what I really needed to do is I needed to shut up, I needed to follow directions, and I needed to start moving. I needed to start being faithful with the little things, is what Emily just said, which is so true. Because when you're just, and that's when I reached that point when, you know, the sit down, shut up and listen, I needed to stop pushing and forcing outcomes in my life all in my own strength. I needed to start relying on his strength. And I wasn't fully doing that. And when I finally let go, I did, I totally let go. Then he brought something to me. And then what else he do? He built it to a full-time income. And now my confidence has been filled again. And I got a vision that keeps getting bigger. And I do have a vision to impact the world. I do have a big vision to impact the world. And it just keeps getting stronger. And you know what's so awesome? Is that even in my pit of doubt, even crying in the closet, even in my disbelief of what I just asked for 7 months ago, he brought it to me anyways. And still fulfilled what I asked. So sometimes you got to just let go and let him start doing it. And start focusing on helping other people. And start focusing on who needs this more than you. And start focusing on, if you needed to make $100,000 in the next year to save your family member, are you going to do whatever it takes? When would now be a good time to do that? Which is what Rob said. Is now a good time? Well, it's either now or what? When? When? Ask yourself these questions. And no second guessing. No quitting. Just say, you know what? Okay. All right. I know that I might not have done everything perfect. I'm still learning. I might be new. Might be where I'm at, right? But today, declare and make the decision. No quitting. No second guessing. Oh, this is a huge trap, by the way. Double-mindedness, that will jack you up. Do not second guess. That frickin' will keep you way stuck. Stay away from that. Take action every day. Declare and make the decision that you're going to do that every day. Even if you don't understand everything. You can whine. You can throw your fits. You can have your moments. I'll give you that. You want to know why? Because I still do it. And I know that sometimes it makes me feel better. Sometimes I just want to whine. Get it over with, and then I get over it, and then I move forward. You can kick and scream, but you're not going to quit. And you're going to do and understand everything to the best of your ability so you can get to what the bigger picture is, right? To help people, to set people free, to impact the world, to feed orphans, to feed missionaries, whatever it is that you want to do, okay? To pay for your kids' college, to pay off all your debt, whatever it is, guys, you're here for that. And do we have the leadership that is proving that the system works? Yes. I've never been around more leadership that's more transparent in my entire life. I'm just saying. And I'm so blessed, and that's why I'm so grateful for this business. So, I'm going to wrap this up. With, and Rob said this, make the decision, take back control of your life, which includes thoughts in your head. I just added that part. Okay? Today, I take back control of my life, which includes these thoughts in my head that shouldn't be there, and I tell them to go to hell where they belong. Okay? And then let me just end on, oh gosh, I still have, let me kind of brush through here really quick because I do want to end at the top of the hour. Another thing Rob said is quit being cheap. You know, if you're just going to be cheap about everything, oh, let me see if I get here before I get there. No, that's when, and this is so true, guys. When you become afraid to like spend and be like, don't be a penny smart and a dollar stupid. You know, don't go like make the decision and then stop right there and don't keep going. That's going to keep you stuck too. You know what I mean? You can't say I want to make $500,000, but I ain't going to spend money to get there. Those two don't line up, okay? Just like when clients would come to me and they say, I want to lose weight before I join the gym. What the hell are you talking about? You got to get in the freaking gym to lose weight. The last 30 years, you haven't done jack crap in your home. I bet you $100,000 right now that you ain't going to lose 30 pounds before you get to this gym. Give me your credit card number. Here, I need you to sign right here, so let's get you started today. And that's exactly what I said to people. And they would be so scared, they just join. No, you got to invest, guys. Stop being a penny smart and a dollar stupid. And Rob just had an example of that where there was a piece of software that was going to help him, and it was $100 a month, and he just hesitated. But that $100,000 a month was the software that took him from 15 grand a month or something to like 50 or 40 or whatever it was. Don't be a penny smart and a dollar stupid. That includes getting all the products. Guys, and listen, you might click. Okay, so recognize that a lot of the leaders are doing different things, right? You notice that? Every leader does their own little thing. Some people are focused on traffic. Some people are focused on solo ads. Some people are focused on blogs, right? However you get it done, get it done. And so find the leader that has the result you want and follow what they're doing inside the platform, okay? Find the leader that has what you want and follow what they're doing inside the platform. Keep it easy on yourself, okay? And stay focused until you get to the income level that you need so you got the confidence or you have the ability to quit your job or whatever it is that you have the goal to do. Does that make sense? And then I'll end on this, guys. One thing he said was, you know what, when he finally got and reached all his goals and he was healed of cancer and, you know, he looked back on his life and he thought to himself, he couldn't believe that it took so long to step into his genius. Because that's the truth, friend. Many of you are going to have different skill sets inside of this platform that for some reason you just connect with that. And that's going to be the stepping stone to your vision. You following me? And that's going to be your genius. And just in through that, right, you are going to draw people to you. It's genius time. Emily just said that. Amen, sister. I'm right there with you. It's time to step into your genius, guys, because each and every one of you, you have something inside of here that you currently already have the talent and the skill. It's just now things are being bridged together to get you where you need to go. Okay? So even though we're doing the accountability calls and guys, I just got all of this content that I gave you today out of an inner circle call. Is that worth $100 a month to me? Yes. I'm just saying. Some fire was lighting up in me while I was listening to this call. So I'm not going to be a penny smart and a dollar stupid. I have all the products because I want to learn, not because I want to make money. And I know that that's a part of it, but my mindset's not there anymore. That took some time to get rid of that mindset too. Even though I know I needed the money, I stopped focusing on the money and said, I'm just going to do what I can do in front of me. And in order to do that, I needed the products. Okay? That's how I looked at it. And the fact that Mark, I watched him lose 2 all-ins. Mark wasn't all in. Mark Whitting, my sponsor, he lost mine and he lost Ryan's. Those passed up to Tom the Furry Hat Guy. I'm talking to a lady today who's in my pass up who now wants to start the business. And the lady that signed her up, she quit. But this pass up lady, she inboxed me last night because she saw us doing the hangout. And she's like, I want to do what you're doing. And she's in my pass up. And I'm actually getting ready to call her after this. And she wants to know what she can do to get started. And she's ready to upgrade. And you know what? Guess who those commissions are going to go to? Me. Do you think that might light a fire in the lady that quit? Maybe. Maybe not. I ain't worried about that. I'm only focused on who's ready to get results. That's what I'm focused on. If you don't want to get results, that's fine. No, from here going forward, I'm here to be people's coach. We will develop the relationship along the way, absolutely. And we will do some awesome stuff together. But I'm not going to force you to do anything. But I'm going to support you with your dream. And I'm going to walk with you side by side. And I'm going to cheer you on every step of the way. And you are going to do the same thing for your people. This is how we pay it forward. Okay? You don't help people by enabling them with their junk. You help them by slaying those demons and moving forward. So, with that said, I need to hop off here because I do need to call that lady. I told her I'd call her at 2 o'clock. I love you guys. I believe in you, and let's go kick some booty. Bye-bye.